Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going over wrapping up my first week post-competition prep season and how it went. So my last video was 2 days before my final show, which was the Battle of the Gods in Rhode Island with OCB, and it was a great show. I ended up placing first in my figure tall category, which was a really cool way to end the season. And yeah, I felt really good about it. Like, sad that the season was ending, but also really looking forward to the off season and getting myself back to healthy physically and mentally, which is what we're talking about. So the last video I talked about the stuff that I did before the season even ended. Today I'm going to be talking about when the season ends, what I do for myself and what I do for my clients. So the show is typically on a Saturday. If it gets out early enough, I definitely go out and eat kind of whatever the hell I want that night. I mean, I don't make myself sick, but I tell my clients, go out and eat what you want and don't feel bad about it. You know, you usually have family or friends at the show that want to go out and celebrate with you. You should go and eat what you want. I hope that goes without saying, but you know, unless you have a show in a couple weeks, that's what you should be doing. On Sunday, the next day, kind of similar. I don't track my food and I do eat what I want, but I keep it to 3 square meals. So breakfast, lunch, and a dinner without snacking. I feel like you're not really gonna do a lot of damage per se with 3 square meals. I mean, yes, you're probably gonna eat well over your maintenance calories, but a goal post-prep should be to put some body fat back on to help get yourself healthy. But you also don't want these things to turn into full-blown binges, which is so common. And I think that avoiding snacking in between meals is a great way to do this. It's kind of the snacking in between meals that turns 3 square meals into just kind of eating all day. So that's what I do on Sunday. So Saturday night, eat what you want. Sunday night, eat what you want within 3 square meals. You can go out to eat for a couple of those meals. You can kind of eat whatever you want, but just keep it to 3 square meals. And bear in mind that all of these videos kind of build on top of the previous videos. So we're still, from the last video, like eating mindfully, eating slowly, eating without cell phone or TV distractions, paying attention to hunger and fullness cues, which is our food choices. Eat what you want on Sunday. Training wise, the week after a show, I just kind of train however I want, and I always advise my clients to do this too. By the end of a contest prep, you're not often like looking forward to, you're not excited about your training, you're not particularly strong, you've probably been doing the same routine forever at this point, you're kind of bored, not very inspired, and most of us got into bodybuilding because we love lifting. So taking that week to just go and kind of play at the gym and do some exercises maybe you haven't done in a long time that you like, and doing cardio only as it feels good to you. So it should be a pretty big decrease in cardio right away. You don't necessarily have to cut it out right away. You could, but it should be a pretty big decrease. So that's pretty much it for the training side of things. I mentioned before I'm doing the recovery diet, not the reverse diet. Reverse diets, in my opinion, are just not very successful. In fact, I would say they have like a 90% failure rate. If something has a 90% failure rate, then the client or person generally feels like a failure, and that's not very good for most people. So at the lowest point in my prep, my calories were around 1150, 1200. To give you an idea, my calories right now are already back up to 2200 right off the bat, and within 3 days I felt 100% better. I guarantee that if you watch this video and then watch the last video, you're gonna see a marked difference in my energy, my gesticulation, and those are a lot of the things that just slow down at the end of the prep, and then they start to write themselves as food and energy increases. So my calories are 2250 at the moment, and it's pretty easy to stay within that range. Now, the goal, of course, is to put back on some healthy weight pretty quickly. And to give you an idea, I'm up about 4 or 5 pounds over the course of a week, and I'm under no illusion that that's muscle. That is for certain fat, glycogen, and water, but it's very important for me to be a healthier person. If I spread this out over a reverse diet, which I have done in the past, let's say a reverse diet from 1200 calories to 2200 calories could take 4 or 5 months of staying in that prolonged deficit to essentially gain the exact same 4 or 5 pounds back. So why not just get there. If you want to learn more about the recovery diet, go check out Free DMJ's channel. They explain it in much more depth and better than I just did. So week 1, what did I do food-wise? Food-wise, aside from the macros, I also stopped weighing my vegetables, my non-starchy vegetables, and my condiments. So yes, at the end of a contest prep, I am weighing my zucchini, I am weighing my lettuce, I am weighing my diet ketchup. That is the cold hard truth of contest prep. So step 1 was to stop weighing those things after the show, and that was very successful. And if I found that I had sort of hit my calorie goal and was still really hungry, which actually didn't happen, but I was going to allow myself to just eat some non-starchy vegetables, kind of to my heart's content. But because my calories were set at such a reasonable place so quickly, that didn't really happen. So I had a sort of the same no snacking rule that I had on Sunday after the show. I've tried to maintain that through the week. And my contest was on Saturday and Thanksgiving was on Thursday. So I had 4 days between my show and Thanksgiving. That did make the no snacking thing a little bit hard because Thanksgiving typically is just kind of like you have this big meal, but you're also kind of snacking all day. So I cut myself a little bit of slack on Thanksgiving. And I have to say it was probably one of the most successful Thanksgivings I've ever had in terms of being mindful, not stuffing myself, and feeling really good at the end of the day, which for many people who weren't even on an 11-month diet, they don't feel very good at the end of Thanksgiving. They feel stuffed, they feel sick, and you would assume somebody post-competition would just absolutely gorge themselves on Thanksgiving. And I attribute the fact that that didn't happen and I didn't feel deprived at all on Thanksgiving to the fact that we got me out of this deficit very quickly and that I had really put a lot of thought into these things before the season even ended. So no snacking, I kept it to 4 meals. I had 4 meals all during my prep: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then a night snack. And I just kept that the same and told myself don't snack in between meals, which I wasn't doing on prep anyway, so this was pretty easy to stick to. We only went out to eat once this week, which usually after a prep people go out to eat a lot, but because it was Thanksgiving, didn't really feel a need to. We had Thanksgiving and then all these leftovers, which I did track. I'm still tracking everything, just not vegetables and condiments. I'm not weighing those things out. I mean, I am still plugging them in, I'm just not weighing them. So for eating out, I had a plan beforehand that if I went out, I would allow myself 1 entree and then either an appetizer or dessert, which would be split with Giacomo typically, because that's what I go out to eat with. So 1 entree, and then we could either split an appetizer or split a dessert, or theoretically I could have gotten a drink, but I'm not interested in drinking. So that was the plan, and we went out one time on Saturday night. We went out to a Lebanese place to get falafel sandwiches, and we got stuffed grape leaves and falafel sandwiches. And because I've been paying such close attention to my hunger and fullness and eating very slowly, I ended up only eating half of my plate and taking the rest home, which was a huge success for me. I didn't box up half of my food because I knew I was supposed to. I didn't stop eating because I felt guilty about eating falafel sandwich and french fries. I stopped because I was pleasantly full, and that's a huge success. And the more frequently that continues to happen, the more successful you know your recovery from prep or your diet is going. And the last thing that we did this week was that we had family dinner every single night. So on prep, I didn't have a whole lot of patience for waiting for other people to be ready to eat. I ate when it was time to eat, regardless of what was going on around me. And I had mentioned this before in the last video, like my food rules, my mealtime rules were like very rigid, and I've been trying to break myself of those habits. And it's not perfect. I don't want you to think like, wow, she turned everything around in 1 week. I still want to occasionally overeat, and I still kind of like to have my food a certain way, but it's improved probably like 50% in 1 week's time with a major food holiday happening in the middle of it. That's incredible. So every night Giacomo and I prepare dinner. They're still separate dinners usually, like different foods, because we have different goals, but we still sit down and have dinner together, something that has not happened consistently in a long time. So that is how I approached week 1 post-competition prep season, and soon we will hear about what I'm doing in week 2. And I assume that by week 4, I will be 100% back to normal. And that's kind of how I think it should be. So let me know if you guys have any questions about this. I look forward to hearing from you, and I will talk to you soon.